People ask me all the time what my favorite lure is, and I always respond, my favorite lure is the one that they will bite. Because that is my favorite lure, because that's the reason that I love to go fishing is to catch bass. That's the reason all of us love to go fishing. So you want a lure that's effective. But I know that's a very unfair answer, and I know it's not an answer that helps anyone. So I've decided this year to do something kind of to myself and for y'all, based around my Black Label product line. And I'm going to pick a bait for each month of the year. If I could leave my shop with only one Black Label bait to go fishing based on what I know, what bait would I take? And I keep in mind all this is relative. I understand, you guys that live in Wisconsin are looking at me going, well, if I was going fishing in January, I'd take an ice auger. I live in Mississippi, so things are a little different. But if I had to pick a bait to go fishing with around home right now, it would definitely be a flat-sided balsa bait. And for January, I'm going to pick my Black Label Slim DD. The reason why is because typically this time of the year, your fish are just kind of, they're really in that good winter pattern, but they're starting to think about staging towards the end of the month, especially if we get, any kind of warm weather in January. They're going to start wanting to stage, and they're going to get on all the things what I call lead-in structures, basically channel swings or the ends of points that go into lead-in pockets. But they're not going to quite be back there yet. And I want a bait that'll get a little bit deeper. A lot of times they'll get out on that stuff that's 8 to 10 foot deep, and this bait will do that. It's got the real tight action that you want in the wintertime. It's a good flat-sided bait. It's a fairly decent sized bait, and one thing I like about that is it gives me the ability to make longer casts with it and get the bait even deeper. It's got the circuit board bill in it. And I normally throw this bait on 10 or 12 pound test high seas fluorocarbon and my 7-foot TFO crankbait rod, and a slow gear ratio reel. And the main thing with this bait, just like all crankbaits this time of the year, is don't fish it too fast. Get that bait down on the bottom and just wind it, keep contact with the bottom. If you feel it hit a rock or a piece of wood, stop it a little bit and start back to retrieve it, and you'll figure out what cadence will trigger those fish, and you'll be able to make them bite. Sometimes, this time of the year, fishing can be in my opinion, it can be the best it can be all year right now. Because once you unlock the secret to it, it's like every fish in the lake's kind of doing the same thing. However, at the same time, it can be some of those frustrating, because if you don't unlock the secret, you can go home and catch nothing, kind of like I've done today. But anyway, this is my bait for January. I'll have you another one come February. But if I had to go fishing right now, this is a bait I would take. It's a Black Label Slim DD in the Fire Crawl color.